I truly hope that this backfires in ways they couldn't imagine.
Yo, me too, man. Me too. Absolutely. Absolutely.
This is a reminder to y'all back in 2009 and 2000. There was a study that came out from the National Center of Education Statistics during the Obama years that showcased how Black women were the most educated group in this.
I'm gonna go back to this Naya Sim. That shit. All right, bet. Oh, I can actually freaking hear that shit. Healing in life, healing in life, healing in life. All right, bet. All right, so I'm gonna play some. I'm gonna play what the fuck I was just playing. Shit. But welcome to this this channel, Just Be People. It's pretty obvious why, you know. Got a lot of robots and fucklocks out there. I'm gonna say what I want on my channel because my Abba instructed me to be me, and I feel how I feel about the shit that's going on, just like anybody else who do. And if you don't like what I'm saying, get the fuck off my channel. How about that? Praise y'all, because I'm gonna do it with you or with not. That's how this goes. You did? I don't, yeah. So anyway. Okay, so I'm gonna share some of my music in a different way this time because I haven't really shared much of my music. I mean, I shared much of my music, but not much of it. You know, I have my links and stuff like that, but I have new stuff that I just started putting out. So this video, the name of this one is today is Apocalypse 3. I'm not going to go into that as far as what that means or defining right now because it'll define itself if you just sit down, you hear, and you listen non-biasedly. But I would like for people when they hear our music, because this is a different type of music, okay? It's a different genre, it's a different energy, it's a different hierarchy, it's a whole different realm, right? And it will shift you, it will change you, it will transform you. I guarantee it. Not because my word is anything, you know, but because it came from my maker. It came from Yah. So Yah teaches me all that I know. I hate this shit. What is this shit? Things be popping up and shit. Okay, bet. So I'm gonna play this while I'm getting that. What the fuck? I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get this going while that's playing and all that jive. I'm gonna start it over though, because it's valid. It's gonna be kind of like a it's gonna be kind of like a reaction video a little bit too. So I'll give my points of view on certain things. I'm gonna be very, very honest with you. First of all, hey Nunya. And second of all, I'm going to get pretty colorful. Okay? Alright, let's do this.
Showcase how much. Hi, sweeties, how are you doing? Welcome tonight. The same, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. So today we'll be talking something very important, and it's about the video that I've been circulating around about popular people saying that Black people are not supposed to be leaders. Black people are not supposed to, like, are not smart, they are not intelligent, and the rest of it. So you all heard what happened in Baltimore and all that. And the mayor of Baltimore actually came out to address what happened, and he was asked when will the bridge be fixed and all that. He won't know what happened.
So I've seen some video on that. Just it wasn't much. I know that's the whole ass setup. I know that's the game. It's a distraction. All right. What they're doing is they're seeking to seeking to destroy the way of travel. You know, you kind of look at certain things. You kind of it's just pretty obvious. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it caused casualties. No, they don't give a fuck about the people who died. You know what I'm saying? But you're just looking at how that ship went under there and how it just fucking dropped. Yeah, somebody did that shit with the mindset to do that shit. But how many movies have that in there? You know what I'm saying? The bridge is collapsing and shit, and blah 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 blah. Spider-Man, all that shit. But that is to cut off means of travel. Okay, they want to have a shutdown before 2025. But by 2030, Agenda 2030, yeah. But anyway, um, okay, so that's not gonna work like that. So what I am gonna do is I'm going to go back to the video. Un momento, because I have another idea. Nah, bruh. Nah, bruh. We not doing it. All right, so I had a lineup. Apparently, I'm gonna start with this one. This is kind of for that first comment. I guess every comment that's made, I'm gonna do a video for it or a song, kind of express how I feel. So no peace in his knee. Screams, I'ma kill all these beats. Broken shackles from my people, but they're not me. See, legendary one slice in the 4-5 trees. Suffocating all the demons, that's how we. I'm gonna start that over. Cause there's a thing. And that's why I'm gonna start it over too, because I can't help but bust out. I can't fucking help it. Streets, so no peace in his knee. Screams, I'ma kill all these beats. Broken shackles from my people, but they're not me. See, legendary one slice in the 4-5 trees. Suffocating all the goddamn notifications and shit. Do not disturb, motherfucker. Overflowers, I drink for the drink. The hammer still don't make you go water that boom. That's supposed to that me. I wonder if I could just not identify. I'm starting that up one more again. Streets, so no peace ain't his me. Screams, I'ma kill all these beats. Broken shackles from my people, but they're not me. See, legendary one slice in the 4-5 trees. Suffocating all the demons, that's how we breathe. So let me read. Overflowers, I drink for the drink. The hammer Hold still, don't drink. You can water that boom. You go with that beat. I wonder if our teachers can identify. All right, so you can go on my SoundCloud and you can look up these streets. You can hear the whole song in its full context and all that jive, you know. Um, so with melanated peoples being stupid, as they say, right? Like, you know what really grinds? My motherfucking teeth. You thought I was gonna say that? The other one, my gears. Anyways, um, the minds of people who don't know, um, they don't know anything for real. But to that, I'm gonna say this: it ain't life. Breakthrough deliverance. I love you, mommy. I love you too, baby. Yo, yeah, hallelujah, what? You did. Uh-huh. Watch me as I live life. Living life. Watch me as I live. Watch me as I watch me as I do. Watch me as I do. God, remember God. It's my God. Watch me as I do. Yeah. Watch me as we do. Yeah. Watch me as I do. Yeah. Watch me as I do. Watch me as I do. Watch me as I do. Watch me as we do. Watch me as I do. Yeah. Yeah. Hallelujah. I got to show you in my roots. Yeah. Daddy teach me how to sing. That's some real shit, boss. So that's welcome to my
High street operating the same ambiguous of the numbers we are great. So the movies are something right in person and we are in the ground, people saying that people are not supposed to believe us. People are not supposed to actually are not smart, are not intelligent, and the rest of it. So people heard what happened in war and all that. And the real war actually came out to address what happened, and he was asked when will the bridge be fixed and all that. He don't know what happened a few days ago. And he told them that this just happened, and we should be thinking about lives and all that were damaged and all that. Eventually, that will be constructed back. And guess what? I mean, the pop cover people are out there already saying that it's going to get so much worse. Prepare accordingly because a black person is a mayor, right? And now you all know how they could, like, it was horrible to say, she used the N word. They can't use it. So they went straight forward to walk. It looks like we've already known what they meant when each time they say walk. And now this is DEI. And now they are saying that we do not deserve to have the position. We do not deserve to be mayor. Black people are not supposed to be the leaders. Black people are supposed to be the followers. So
Okay, okay. So I got something for that. I got something for that. Um, yeah. Most people that think like this, we brown, red, women, we gave you full correct posture, common sense, because most of us are very young. Don't even have to teach your own children none of that. You know what I'm saying? You know how to feed your children. None of this shit. I'm not finding the records and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? This that, they have you know what I'm saying? So we built pyramids. Children, hey, come here, all three of them. I don't think y'all heard exactly my instructions. Come, you, mine, there, you, your room. You got 'em? Come here, you sit right here. Now, you know, so at the end of the day, we know what's up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you dealing with a bunch of people who stole it out and everything you think of, existence to fucking destroy the earth and creation itself. You know what I'm saying? They have no common sense. Even with all their so-called ideas and out ideas, they couldn't get us to fight and actually be different. You know what I'm saying? Thinking yours. We're before you. You know what I'm saying? We're greater. We're a higher spiritual class, a higher spiritual being. You know what I'm saying? As a whole, than you people combined. Think like y'all, whether they're melanated or they're albino. You did. So at the end of the day, let's use me for example. I graduated high school 2 years late, 3.0, doped up on 5,000 milligrams of psychotropic medications for problems I didn't have in the first place. And the only reason I did that is because I knew that, obviously. And then when I went to the courts, the judge told me I didn't have the mentality of a mental disability. You know what I'm saying? Figure that out. Back pay was supposed to be $2.5 million. Figure that out. You know what I'm saying? Like, people gotta really, really learn to make shit make sense. You know what I'm saying? When shit don't make sense, it's either gonna make sense of yourself or you gonna help make that shit make sense. You can start answers. Yeah. So at the end of the day, melanated people are the progenitors and originals of all writings, all buildings. You know what I'm saying? Anything dealing with agriculture, we talk y'all Europeans. It's all in there. Look at my videos, you go see for yourself. It's all there. You know what I'm saying? Y'all motherfuckers didn't know a whole lot till you came to America. Till you went to the other lands, you know what I'm saying? Of my people that make Evinikwa, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, y'all niggas ain't know how to wash your ass. You didn't know how to treat a woman. Woman damn sure ain't know how to treat a man. Y'all didn't know how to take care of y'all children. We done seen y'all shit and piss and buckets, you done seen it's all in y'all history. Let's throw that shit in the street, raggedy as fuck, you know what I'm saying? So and it's still a bunch of there's still a bunch of melanated and white people to this day who still know how to act. by motherfuckers who don't know how to act. It is. It's learned behavior. It's indoctrination. These motherfuckers experiment on everything. They tell you one thing's good for you and one thing's not. They don't fucking know. They're not connected to the earth. They're not connected to our maker. They're not connected to creation. You know what I'm saying? They are desensitized. Why do you think they want everything to be like them? Speak how they speak. Dress how they dress. Oh, you chose that. You dress like you British now. I used to oppress life as a handout. Fuck up the base system. Now, the base system is those who think less than beasts. These people are less than beasts. Alright? A dog has more common sense than they do. That's real shit. A worm has more intelligence than they do. That's real shit. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, y'all are rape, murder, and we all know any people are coming out with more of things that wasn't even known. What you did to our people. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, y'all call us savages instead of third. Where'd you get all the gold from? You feel me? Where'd you get all the trinkets and stuff you ever seen us from? Smithsonian know that. You did? Who built the pyramids? Who built the mountains? Not y'all motherfuckers. Y'all motherfuckers couldn't build the type of shit that we built. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't sketch and etch your stuff with the kind of stuff that we do. You stole it. You stole it. From the Khazars and so on else. The fake Jews and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? We see what's going on with them now. With Palestine. We see their true colors. That Bible is their book, people. Duh. They stole our names. ISIS, Ra, and you. They don't even look like anything that comes from those names, of those heritage. You know what I'm saying? And we know that y'all couldn't survive in the sun long enough. That's why y'all in our races. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna make that shit make sense. You motherfuckers are the dumbest and stupidest motherfuckers in existence. And you know that. Look what you done to Earth. Free energy. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we're gonna make an energy system. You know, DTE. Fuck you, bitch. Our energy was already here before you existed. You know what I'm saying? We created before you were. So at the end of the day, put this into perspective. We're the only race of people, or races of people that produce an albino of our kind. And every other color of our kind. And we don't need you all for it. You did. So by deliberately doing wickedness and interweaving your wickedness into our blood, poisoning our blood with your DNA, do you think your children are going to survive just because they have money? When the real truth is, they're going to perish just like you. If they don't turn and they don't change their thinking and their ways differently, and actually speak the real truth. Because if it wasn't for us, our people wouldn't exist. We would have died out long ago, probably 500, 600 years ago, if not even more than that. Your DNA proves it. You need our melanin to make your medicine. Come on, bro. Blood banks, plasma dispensary banks. Come on, man. Make that shit make sense, bro. Make that shit make sense. Y'all motherfuckers kidnap motherfuckers and shit like that, turning our people against each other to do the same shit y'all motherfuckers do, and these motherfuckers think they protected. We're the only definition of government that has ever existed in our lands. Your law is nothing. Your rule is irrelevant. It doesn't exist. Don't you get it? That's why you can't control us. Because it's not true. You have no jurisdiction here. What you have done and how you've done it and how you've done these things to bring about your so-called rule, y'all motherfuckers still don't rule here. That's why we rising up. You don't have that power here. You're not an authority. You stole what is not yours. So your ancestors, from them, you will now build them from those people. You've inherited lies. All your judges, magistrates, princes, they're all abominations. Unstolen land. Took our castles down, our temples, pyramids. You know what I'm saying? You tell us we can't do our stuff, bitch. Watch this. Watch me. Watch me. Watch me be bigger than you expect. Tell you another story about my graduate. drugged up for 14 years, tested him for 14 years. He got off of me because I answered my father's instruction. He said, say no. All right, 8 to 97 times in the 20 different states. Then you talk about, well, we give you this, you know what I'm saying? You know, are you willing to take some things? No, bitch. Fuck. You know, no, it's not working. A long time ago, I had a super high tolerance. You know what I'm saying? I used to do pills, I used to do ecstasy, I used to do marijuana, all the narcos, you know what I'm saying? Like, and some of those pills, like Depakote, Respirol, Cerazone, Prozac, Bestropine, Tazepine, Cold, fuck that shit called, yeah, codeine was a little bit, um, that way. All of you. Some of you are really ignoring because you don't think the same as the same type of animal and you're in spiritual class or whatever. So, just saying that, because I have family and they fucking hate y'all too. You know what I'm saying? And it's rightfully so. Mrs. With your Bible speak for eyes, you know, I just feel about this too. Which is nothing about my people. In a certain sense, some of my people is stupid. Watch this. In that sense, because like you have all this knowledge at your fingertips and research and shit like that. And it's internet, you ain't doing nothing, wasting your time showing your ass all over your profiles and shit, you know what I'm saying? Naked and shit, or fan pages and shit. Some of that shit, I know why they're not saying don't speak. You can do this. I'm not playing with you. You're not gonna keep interrupting the work that I'm giving you. You know that you're being disrespectful. I'm not tolerating. You have 5 minutes. Do it quickly. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even tolerating in my own house like they're moving order, bro. Period. Y'all niggas out of order. You know what I'm saying? It was bad enough that our people, you know what I'm saying, have been struggling in it with traffic, sex forums and shit like that, and forced to break apart their marriages and shit like that to yield to other people and create more babies for more merchandise. You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers think of things that's it. You know what I'm saying? And our people is dumb as fuck at times. And the real truth is like, y'all sit there and run your mouth about shit, but you ain't doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, those of us who do. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no compromising with monsters. You dig? To be a monster, it's not even about thinking like a monster. It's more deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta know how monsters move different than monsters at the same time. You have to have a standard. And the standard is a maker. The standard is a holy. The law of the jungle, the law of creation, the law of exact karma. You know what I'm saying? Three. Y'all motherfuckers don't rule. And you don't rule here. You don't rule me. Our maker is proving this to you wrong. That's why you're frustrated. Also, your existence and you seek to control things you can't control. You know what I'm saying? All these fucking neural weapons and shit like that. All that goddamn bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And it still don't work the way that you desire for it to work because our maker is inside of us and outside of us. We're connected. You can't stop that. There's nothing you can do other than you try to put a Bible in your body and you still can stop us from going back to where and who we truly are in our ancestors. You know what I'm saying? It shows that you ain't you got that power. But you do because you try to control everybody else because you lack the self control that you need for yourself and your own family. You can't keep your own family stuff together. So you know what I'm saying? What else do you think that can come from these people? high, that is so deep, we still receive it anyway. You can't keep what is rightfully ours from our possession from us. It's going to be hidden from your children because it's not their inheritance. It's not their inheritance. They have no rights. They have no birthright. Their DNA has been rejected. You feel me? So y'all think of Edom versus Jacob and shit like that. That's just showing, like they say, Africa in America. You know what I'm saying? Trying to divide our people instead of they're against each other in everything that they fought to do. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, you know what I'm saying, putting you tools to still prosper. That's not them. You know, tear down creation or brothers and sisters that we supposed to protect. You know what I'm saying? Watch over. You know what I'm saying? And you want to hand it back to y'all niggas dead. Dead white. Dead white. Dead white. Dead, dead. Dead, so you can't run. You call this darkness, but you still worship, but you still can't run from it. So you feel me? Look at the popes. The popes got a picture of a black or brown nigga Madonna in a motherfucking what they call those the chapel and shit. There's pictures of the power down. You know what I'm saying? You want to exterminate us, but you can't get rid of us. You dig? So this is why COVID exists because COVID is extermination. It's a genetic extermination. This is why they be trying to shadow ban people and shit like that. They want to come out, bitch. You can't stop it. You know that. So, and that note, I'm gonna rest and we'll let this next. Oh, and that's the perception of people by the way. And to be extra clear, our maker designed us and created us to do these things. You can't stop it. You're not your being. Your God. Your gods look like me because they are who are manipulating into doing what they wanted them to do and fulfilling their agendas, driving them, blah 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 blah. Genocide. That's how these religions, most of our people got into these religions. That's how the tax system exists. And that's how the census exists. This is how the you know what I'm saying, all the shit that they've been doing, you know what I'm saying, exists because we still just because plain or past is no eating $5 anything, no making $5 anything, no, you still not you still not welcome. We still don't like your motherfucking we still not gonna help. And that's gonna be my thing right there. Like I told y'all a long time ago. Stop helping that motherfucking ass destroy you. Go work somewhere else. Because if you support that shit, depending on what the situation is and the mindsets and all that stuff too. Because everybody's situation is different in this very much. That's just means dying. It's falling. It's feeling. It feels big. But just know that in this World War III energy war, it sits in their papers. And um the manifestation, how they want to bring it about is using Muslims manipulating y'all to do it. Have you not focused on what happened in Palestine? They're gonna go after the ones in Africa too, the Muslims here. The brothers that talk about the Muslims everywhere should rise up, they know what the fuck they doing, bro. They know what they doing. This is how they want to bring about their false prophecy. Jesus don't exist. Allah and the way that they project is a demon, a wicked spirit. Muhammad was a pedophile and a murderer and a thief. Not only that, he was a homicide, genocide maniac. Zan, Z-A-N-J, and see how it the Muslims felt about the Zan, our melanated flesh, beautiful, ooh, red, beautiful clay. Ooh, hey, you want to be like me so much, don't you? Hey, you can't mimic me even though you put yourself in that mirror with my clothes on. I go do my research. You got to put your clothes on. You saying? Mongol, abominations, and by design, but you're not worth the breathing space. Watch the inevitable because it is. And it will be. And I want to tell y'all, people don't get caught up in the Judaism shit. My melanated, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because that's the agenda. A lot of Christian Hebrews, Christians are abominations. You know what I'm saying? As far as religion goes, and indoctrination, there's discovering powerful since they came back in 1666. You know what I'm saying? These Christians have went into every nation, just like the Muslims who did the same thing in Ireland, blah blah blah, all different things they got. And they've done the same shit. East Indian slave trade. I mean, come on. You know what I'm saying? Come on. Y'all built weapons and devices to fucking do earthquakes, to manipulate the weather. You know what I'm saying? And you still think that you are the maker. Watch make put you in your place. Because you ain't gonna be buried in our earth. I hope you know that, right? For every descendant of the monsters who have done these things to our people, whatever it may be, you know the earth rejects you, right? Your existence, the waters, the ether, the wind, the fire, the Most High rejects you, your whole existence. So, what heritage do you have when it's stolen? And like you've done to our people, this is what you fear happening to your people. But guess what? It's already finished. What will be, will be. And you know, I know that much.
You think that's not no why this entity? I want y'all to understand something. First, it was CRT that became the new N word. Then it was woke that
Don't understand shit. You understand it. You have the power. The power is in you.
became
Greater
the
than
new
you.
N word. Now, DEI is the new N word. This is Baltimore's DEI mayor commenting on the collapsed Francis Scott Key Bridge. It's going to get so much worse. Prepare for it. For those of you who follow me, I know you all know this, but I just want to point it out. He was elected into that position. That means voters in his district went down to the voting booth and voted him into office. This is an attempt, just like CRT, woke. These are attempts to use socially acceptable words in place. And people use the time of social media to create the life you want. Still, socially acceptable words in place of a word that is not socially acceptable. And that word is used to dehumanize Black people, to disparage Black people, to disrespect and denigrate Black people, to point out what their belief that Black people aren't intelligent enough to be in these positions. All of
that is flat out racist. It's just flat out and jealous because we've accomplished everything that they were not able to accomplish quicker, more further advanced, and way ahead of our time. And they playing catch up. Think about it. Why would you want to destroy it so much? Trying to catch up, trying to be the boost. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, or whatever, like I said, they the ones who, you know what I'm saying? They don't like being told that they were wrong. They think they can run from that shit. Every man, oh well, it was some shit that broke out and blah 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 blah. Nah, bitch, you don't want to take accountability for genocide. You don't want to take accountability for when y'all said, "Oh, kill all the Indians at all costs." You came to kill Indians. Y'all put out whole campaigns. You know what I'm saying? All the wars in America was against the people who's already here. The ones who felt like there was no hope. I'm pretty sure that's why others of our ancestors, shit, they accepted death before dishonor, real shit. And in my mind, I'm like, if y'all still walking around and have knowledge of this shit, and you still accepting this shit, oh, what does that mean to you? So it is an accountability, you know what I'm saying? Because though we're people that were done very, very deep and great wrong, I mean, that doesn't mean we have to continue to do that shit to each other. You know what I'm saying? That then does make um some of our people um stupid on some real shit. You know what I'm saying? Right? Your own people you talk to, but at the end of the day, who gave your people the drugs? CIA, FBI, same motherfuckers doing the shit that they doing now in Palestine, the brain situation, the food shortage, the train shit. I can go on for days. 5G, all the planning them agenda size and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like they say the revolution won't be televised. Well, I disagree. I don't agree. Because clearly, if social media was there to be weaponized opposed to us, it's clearly worked in their favor. Clearly, there's an ideal in the mind of creating, you know what I'm saying, that's greater than what y'all thought, you know? Because even in y'all even in the midst of y'all um long story short, like I said, all the atrocities y'all niggas guilty of, nigga, bring me my record. Racism. I think right now, sir, we shouldn't be having that discussion. The discussion right now should be about the people, the souls, the lives that we're trying to save. There will be a time to discuss about a bridge and how we get a bridge back up. But right now, there are people in the water that we have to get out, and that's the only thing we should be doing. The discussion right now should be about the people, the souls, the lives. So that's what's more statement. When that people are calling the diversity mayor in a negative. And he was asked by a reporter during that press conference, how long is it going to take to rebuild the bridge? And the part of that video that I stitched to you was part of his answer. So I'm going to tell you something. If a diversity mayor is how we move this country to a people-oriented country, I suggest you get you a whole lot of diversity politicians because it's obvious that that's where the care and concern is for we the people. Certain individual. All right, now that part right there. We the people. My people, you must know They ain't talking about you. That's why when you go to court for some dumb shit, most times it don't rule anything. That makes sense. That's this shit, 1776. And there's two different um, amendments, Bill of Rights and shit. Y'all gotta think, just because you have to speak nowadays, in their eyes, they still they still treating you. They should treat you like you don't got no right. You know what I'm saying? Mhm. It's crazy. They told me I had no right, but all my life I had to fight for my. They told me I had no right, but all my life I had to fight. So you know me, I take my right in life, in life, in life. Yeah, I ask y'all motherfucker, why you asking permission to leave? Fuck down, this your life. How- you know what I mean? Every time you go outside, just know that's your water. Alright? Your DNA, your ruach DNA. I'm not talking about your flesh DNA. We're more than flesh, you did. Um, this is why it's encoded in us. You know what I'm saying? There's things they will never be able to tap into. They can't. They're exiled from it. It's prohibited. You know what I'm saying? Just like they put in the Bible, the destructions of our lands and shit like that, right? And they sitting there talking about, oh, because the idols in the temple. It was probably because of shit that our people was putting up with other people's shit. You ain't had no vision with. And as a consequence, them motherfuckers went in and was like, hey, give me that. You know? So it's kind of a point of considering many things. But at the same time, when you look at these invasions and the fact that they forced Christianity and Islam on us, that proves to you that wasn't the most honesty. Because some of their fruit, well, in some ways, in some of their fruit of that, you say, you know them by their fruit, right? Okay. They take it by the blood of the Lamb. But the book of Leviticus talks about, or speaks about the sacrifices of the blood of the bull and the blood of the goat. They had sheep offerings and shit like that. But the word Yahusha is Joshua. In the sacrifice, Jesus is a society. Not no sacred. It represents white supremacy. So called intervening all these fucking genocides and shit and exterminations and invasions to so called in their minds save us from being savages. Bitch, if you from the jungle, you in the jungle. You retards is from fucking fucktoy regions. So where else do you think you're supposed to be? You know what I mean? That's why I'm like, you really put it into context and make you understand. You do your research. They have whole ass books. Excuse me. They have whole ass books. They want you to pay $500, $600 for, and it's your shit. Bitch, I'm not paying no $500, $600 for nothing. I'm taking my shit. How about that? Run jail that. How about that? How about that? Ah, bitch, get me outside. How about that? Little white girl was, hey, she had the line though. She sure did. Get me outside. How about that? On the Dr. Phil pedophile show. That nigga pedophile too. You don't like being called pedophiles, but you pedophiles. You pedophile. And then they traffic their own people and shit like that too. Big experiment. You know all the shit that they do, you know what I'm saying? Taking people on the ground and shit like that. I mean, man, fuck y'all niggas, bro. Who give a fuck about y'all? And ain't nobody threatened by y'all no more. And they know that. So I'll just say, rise up. Your maker said, rise up, then rise the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? You don't owe these people an explanation. You don't owe them anything. They owe us their lives, their very existence. That's the only way that you can pay a proper recompense for all the blood that you shed with your covenants of death, obviously. So what happens when you break your covenants of death? Hmm? It's a reversal. A reset. All right. I said they don't know what that really is. That's why they want to be who we are. Egyptians, before them Nubians, before them Atlanteans. You know what I'm saying? And before, you know what I'm saying? They want to be, but they not. They want to be everything else but themselves. And then the motherfucking shape shifting ass Decepticons, Transformers and shit. The fucking Transhuman agendas on some other shit. On the perverted explanation of that. Because if you get transformed in your thinking, you're, you're being geoterraformed at the same time. So, bro, shit is not. At the end of the day, it's like I said before, praise the Most High, and fuck them niggas.
Certain individuals of a certain group that have certain views are trying to now change the meaning of the letters DEI, saying that it means didn't permit. Because to them, for some reason, DEI means getting free stuff for Black people and other marginalized groups. They seem to think that it works like welfare, which they happen to benefit the most from it.
And that's true. They had benefited illegally in high treason of the royal divine law of creation or for creation. You've broken that law. You've broken your contracts, your treaties. Why are you still obeying these facts? Figure out what the fuck I said. A bundle of sticks to be burned in the fire. And you look, I'm not threatened by your threats. I'm not threatened by y'all visitations. I'm not threatened by y'all attacks. I'm not threatened by you trying to kill me. Because at the end of the day, you still can't kill me. And at the end of the day, it shows how weak you still truly are. And at the end of the day, my power only makes me greater and stronger. Just for fucking. So all you're doing is building yourself a deeper grave, which is actually a prison. Mm-hmm. Not just for your mind, it's for your existence. All the elements of your being it. You know what I'm saying? That's your portion you're trapped in. How would y'all feel if most I just came and exterminated all y'all motherfuckers? You know what I'm saying? We was about to hate all our people that they wrote in the Bible, all the tribes that was exterminated, of our own people. So not only did they do what they done, but boasting about it and thinking they're gonna continue the same bullshit, like it's gonna be reciprocal. Nah, nigga. Mm-mm. See, you don't know the things that our ancestors knew because if you really truly do or knew, you wouldn't have been able to stop. You, you would have been able to stop our existence. You can't. You didn't create us, so you're still weak. Learn to have some self control. Ain't that what your Bible tell you? You can have a gift of tongues, angels, blah 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 blah. But if you don't have adoration or compassion or love, then you're pretty much worthless. So you know you're worthless. Anybody adds to this book and the curses in place, bitch, that's your shit. And doesn't walk up. Oh, I need to go. Check this out. How many times have y'all rewritten those so-called Bibles? That word Bible isn't in our writings. It's not in our records of the saints. It doesn't exist. Just like the word Hebrew doesn't exist in our writings, other than what y'all motherfuckers came and gave us from your language, the way you can interpret it, because y'all still can't interpret our languages to this day, let alone say the word Niger right. Y'all still saying nigger. You guys are fucking stupid. You got all these white people out there want to ask, oh, can I say nigger? Bitch, can I slap you in your fucking face? Can I kick you in your balls? You know what I'm saying? Can I hit you with a baseball bat in your vagina? You know what I'm saying? Like, can we castrate you? Like, no? What the fuck? Right, right. Pronounce it right, first of all. It's pronounced Niger. Right? And then actually finish what the fuck you speaking. You only said one word in a question. Can I call you Niger? Niger what, nigga? People talk about, well, you just said nigga. Alright, nigga. Don't play with me. Um, but the truth is, they put these Bibles out there for fans. But however, it worked for them for a time, but it has been reversed now. It was actually reversed a couple years ago. Another thing, those of your seat who are righteous, and forsake God and bullshit, who you think what we do is destroy your own shit. Isaiah 28:18. And your covenant with death shall be annulled, and your agreement with hell shall not stand, and the overflowing quick shall pass through. Then you shall be trodden down by it. Well, we know that this meant them coming in because in their stuff, they say, in their writings and readings and records, they say that God commissioned them to murder us and gave them all of our possessions and our lands. You feel me? They gave permission to do what they do. Obviously, their God is a God of death. It's Satan. So then, the God of their Bible is what? A Satan. Jesus, homosexual sodomite lover of Leonardo da Vinci. You wonder why there's all kind of pedophiles in the church. Church. You'll look at that word, church. Kirke. God is some sorcery, witchcraft. Your New Testament, especially, is cursed. So who the one that's cursed? Eh? Your father's inherited lies. So who's the one who's cursed? Because it looks like me, Abba, and Amma, and our brothers and sisters is waking us up. Not just waking us up, rising us, empowering us. You know what I'm saying? In y'all motherfucking faces. The things have been set and prepared. You know what I'm saying? So, um, Leviticus 16, and go through that. Verse 13, go through. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jesus claims to be God, then the Almighty Alpha, and blah, blah, blah. Then he claims to just be a man. It's confusion. Which fucking one are you versus that the so called gods that have been presented the way that we've been indoctrinated with in our behavior? It's really in the deified works of whatever they were doing, they contributed to whatever they were doing. You know what I'm saying? Authority. We understand you. And absolutely. And all of our being. You have no choice but to speak the truth. Whether you use it or not, you're being forced to. You do. You know that, right? So, as I said, and I will say again, why are you all asking him for permission for anything?
They seem to think that it was welfare, which may not have intended to in any way, but I digress. And forget that Black people actually have to go through the same processes, the same vetting process that white people do to secure the spots, to secure access to these diversity initiatives and programs. But I just think it's so ironic coming from a demographic whose ancestors did not earn their status of social superiority. The same people who did not earn it, the human beings that they bought and stole under threats of violence and destruction.
Y'all motherfuckers ain't learned shit even when you go on to college or a job. It's our stuff. You own nothing in our land. You own nothing. And be happy. Soils. You wanna know why? Because y'all the motherfucking illegal aliens, bitch. Real shit. And I called you motherfucking dogs. And I'm never know what I do. So at the end of the day, bring me my money. But at the end of the day, I know we're both. You know what I'm saying? I'm not my maker's inheritance, so to my people, so do you really think you gonna let you just destroy us? You really think you gonna keep letting us silence? What's gonna happen is y'all see the silence of us and you gonna get silenced by y'all. And he gonna make a fucking spectacle of them. Because one thing that I really put in perspective, if y'all wanna start a shit, and dealing with let's just put Muslims right for a second, right? It's Christians that hate y'all motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? It's Muslims that hate y'all. There's a lot of people that hate y'all motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? The difference is though, they know where you live too. You dig? So that prophecy in Isaiah, you do know is you can't stop it. But it's coming with the flood. That you all never possibly thought that they could drink to eventually in the most high. And just be happy because we wrote because we already did. Just because you done what you done doesn't mean we don't stop being who we are. You dig? We still broke. We still king priests. We still kingdom nations. As well kingdom nations. As well kingdom empires. You feel me? Y'all didn't have it. Y'all earned nothing over here in these lands. Nothing but a death wish and the right to die. So at the end of the day, the most high says the same thing. That's what we got it from. So hey, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, there's a lot of uneducated fools who are too proud to get education. Islam, all the I watch people in Christianity just swear up and down. Yeah, you're gonna go to hell if you don't accept Jesus. Oh, is that right? Is that right? But didn't Jesus tell you not to condemn people who know that goddamn shit? Who did give the authority and the birthright and all the power and the meaning of standing you motherfuckers? That's how it is. Y'all motherfuckers walk on me. Y'all motherfuckers hurt my family. Murder meant much. I'm legit the fuck all over y'all. Everything. That's what we're doing. Y'all said witches, you said and where he had that clearly they didn't complete their assignments. So we know what happens in those type of contracts. Those demons turn on those motherfuckers. And what was sent out against us or against me is shit is not relevant. You know what I'm saying? Fuck politicians. We already had our own government system, and they still exist. You take something from our people, you know, Iroquois, and mimic that so-called law, and it's not law, bro. Every jurisdiction, y'all niggas can't. You don't rule by stealing and murdering, raping, burning, filleting, castrating, even all shit. The father of gynecology and shit, experimenting on the women. You do it to your own women. Project Sex Kitten, Project Phoenix, Project blah blah blah, all that goddamn shit. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna win this battle, this war, when it comes to the Most High and His people. It's inevitable. Just like you put in your Bible, believe in Jesus, He won't die, blah blah blah. But we don't believe, we don't trust in Jesus, then we still continue anyway. You know what I'm saying? If energy doesn't die, then what? You're not gonna stop us, right? So what that means, it's gonna keep coming. It's gonna keep coming stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and greater and greater. The more you hide, the more it's exposed. The more things get exposed. And the greater people receive it, quicker, with no trouble. And Mama teaches them what to do. We ain't gotta do like y'all motherfuckers. We just gotta be. This my shit. I want y'all motherfuckers get the fuck out. And since y'all don't want to, well, we already know we gotta have most high intervene. That's all that is. Y'all not that. Jesus ain't no powerful nigga, nothing. Jesus a redneck motherfucker. Ain't got no fucking sense and fucking dirty and shit. Let another man come in his anus and shit. Sucking all your shit, you fucking faggots. Teaching our children fucking from the culture with all up in this shit. And y'all wanna try to reverse it on us? Oh, we was just the ones. Nigga, we was walking around here naked. Our asses walking around here naked. And I'm pretty sure you see them running the trouble stop bitches here and there. I would just completely dismiss it. However, from y'all writings, oh, we was a real loving people, kind people. We was walking around with gold ornaments and this, that, and the third. And we talk about, you know what I'm saying, take away the 18 ornaments. We talk about God said it, our Lord said it. Nah, y'all motherfuckers said that. You said the Most High said, our Maker said that. As a matter of fact, the place we lived at, you know what I'm saying, the West was known as the underworld. You know what I'm saying? Or in other words, see, blah, blah, blah. But I do digress. Hell is not a place. Neither is heaven. Those are not locations. Other than where those spirits kept up their names on the locations, which have no power. You know what I'm saying? The principal thing is wisdom. So the principality is wisdom that surpasses and is way above things. Right? Y'all motherfuckers don't have it. If you had wisdom, you would have seen the implications of your bullshit a long time ago. You would have made every effort since the 70s. The beasts of our land don't like him. The sun don't like y'all motherfuckers. It is. That's why our grass is so fucking itchy and shit now. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers. Man, y'all that sewage and shit running through your streets and shit like that. Shit, and pissing in buckets and bales and stuff like that. Running out the window in the streets. I seen some of that cowboy movies and shit. That niggas dirty as fuck. The movies. They're really doing that shit. And then they entertain. You know what I'm saying? Hey, watching how that motherfuckers in their character acts. Like this. Your mama's a piece of shit. And your daddy's a piece of shit. Your grandma's a piece of shit. Your granddad's a piece of shit. Your children's a piece of shit. Like yo. Some of y'all children fucking hate y'all too, rightfully so. Some of y'all children that went out to work, some of y'all motherfuckers. They be on TV like, I wonder what happened. Oh, this is the wicked shit that you done. Our ancestors did that shit before that. Do you really think they're dead? You really think they're dead? But y'all talk about the angels. I mean, word angel means messenger. Word angel. Oh, you're bitch. Time out. Right. Now, this thing came from it. So, mind you, all the ancestors that y'all motherfuckers was trying to be killing. Wash your ass, motherfucker, like this. Watch your kush, like this. Trim your shit, goddammit. Like shit, y'all motherfucking hair and shit. Fucking shit. Fucking, I see a lot of people shit on fucking dirty shit. Now y'all wanna see this shit. Oh, you're probably bitch, you kidnapping ass motherfucker. Still saying I goddamn do shit. Nobody gonna take that shit. Everything they did was illegal, bro. It's all illegal. They trap you in this virus in your minds. And then they want to say that God said that God is like right. It's not our right. It's not our gifts. It's not stuff. It's not our receipts. Brown people did not start Christianity. You know, if that was a God that y'all follow, I think he hates you. I think he hates you very much. Because a lot of people call Jesus. In the name of Jesus. It's not the one. You gotta know what you actually speak. You know what I'm saying? So let me look up this because I'm a man of that business. You know what I'm saying? You gotta say you're gonna buy fruit. Ain't that the fruit that's living in you? So the Zion Rebellion, black slaves, which took place in Iraq from 868 to 880, rescued 83 CE during that century. This one of the remarkable episodes of Islamic history that often goes untold. Wonder why much of what we know about the rebellion comes from these numbers of thoughts. Al-Tabari, analysis of prophets and kings, and al-Muslimin, Maruch according to the accounts in about a 60 events, the slave descendant Arab journeyed into the slave owners in marshlands east of Iran, where black slaves were employed by large landowners to dig away the nitrous soil or surface nitrous surface soil, reclaiming the land we needed for future sugarcane cultivation. It was exacting work, and slaves were expected to obtain saltpeter from the upper layers of the soil for their master's profit. Their well-being was often neglected, and their oppression was gruesome. Al-Tabari recounts that Ali received an audience among these slaves by claiming that he was an agent acting on behalf of a caliph's son, having already amassed a following of precious journeys. He began ambushing the establishments of rich landowners and capturing their slaves. He also captured the slave owners and brought them home in his raids. According to Al-Tabari, after he gathered all of the slave owners in one location, Ali castigated them in front of their own slaves. He sought to win the consent of the slaves, and the slaves themselves must have been awestruck by how much their lives had been turned upside down. I wanted to hit you for the way you have treated the slaves with arrogance and coercion in ways that our lives forbidden, he said. Turn them over to us and let us pay you compensation for them. The slave owners responded after telling him that the slaves were habitual runaways who would betray him anyways. Ali ordered their slaves to bring whips of palm branches. Whoop your motherfucking ass! And while their masters and agents were prostrated on the ground, each one was given 500 lashes. Woo! Man, I can see it oh man. Imagine that motherfuckers doing hell down like that. We're tired of nigga. What you say my name was? Oh, Toby? No, that's real. What's my real name, cuz? What's my real name, blood? But are Ancient Islamic campaigns against black. I'm gonna take it a step further because y'all want you don't want to play. You trying to play with me, Google? You trying to play with me? The Arabian slave trade. History of slavery in the Muslim world, motherfucker. The other Muslim slave trade of Africans, the untold story. And the trans-Saharan trade. You know, the other Muslim slave trade of Africans, the untold story. Over 28 million Africans have been enslaved in the Muslim world during the past 14 centuries. While much has been written concerning the transatlantic slave trade, surprisingly, that's what all the white people, little attention has been given to the Islamic slave trade across the Sahara, the Red Sea, and the Indian Ocean. Mind you, there are melanated Europeans before white Europeans ever got there. Oh yeah, baby. India, ooh, all over here. Come on, man. Wherever you see Islam, or wherever you see Muslims and Christians, you know the truth. While the European involvement in the transatlantic slave trade to the Americas lasted for just over 3 centuries, the Arab involvement in the slave trade has lasted 14 centuries, and in some parts of the Muslim world is still continuing to this day. How the fuck you think they got so many converts? Right. In comparison, it's force. They call them the god of forces. A comparison of the Muslim slave trade to the American slave trade reveals some interesting contrasts. While 2 out of every 3 slaves shipped across the Atlantic were men, the proportions were reversed in the Muslim trade. 2 women for every man were enslaved by the Muslims. While the mortality rates for slaves being transported across the Atlantic was as high as 10%, the percentage of slaves dying in transit in the trans-Sahara and East African slave trade was between 80 to 90%. While almost all the slaves shipped across the Atlantic were for agricultural work, most of the slaves destined for the Muslim Middle East were for sexual exploitation as concubines, in harems, and for military service. While many children were born to slaves in the Americas and millions of their descendants are citizens in Brazil and the US or America, um, Tamaru, Tamari, America. Shout out to Lataloni. Um, in the U.S. to this day, very few descendants of the slaves that ended up in the Middle East survive. While most slaves who went to the Americas could marry and have families, most of the female slaves destined for the Middle East were castrated. What the fuck? Oh, most of the male slaves. I'm about to say, how do you castrate a vagina? But never mind. I know how they do that. While most slaves who went to the Americas could marry and have families, most of the male slaves destined for the Middle East were castrated. And most of the children born to the women were killed at birth. Hmm. Looks like the Christians follow that shit too. They was working together. Duh. Um, it is estimated that possibly as many as 11 million Africans were transported across the Atlantic, 95% of which went to South and Central America, mainly to Portuguese, Spanish, and French possessions. That's interesting because it's the same thing that the white peoples was doing, taking people from here, sending them to other places. Only 5% of the slaves went to the United States. Just like only was like I think they said 8% of our people was no, I think they said 8% of Africans was brought over here in this landmass specifically, and they dispersed them other places too. But some of them other places they was dispersed to was places they was already existing. They were just enslaved in more of their own land. So only 5% of the slaves went to the United States. A comparison of the Muslim slave trade to the American slave trade reveals some interesting contrasts. While 2 out of every 3 slaves shipped across the Atlantic were men, the proportions were reversed in the Muslim slave trade. Okay, I already read that. Okay. Okay, percentage of the trans-Saharan East African slave trade was between 80 to 90%. While most of all the slaves shipped to the concubines, and I already read that. I already read that. Okay, so while most slaves who went to the Americas could marry and have families, most of the male slaves destined for the Middle East were castrated, and most of the children born to the women were killed at birth. It is estimated that possibly as many as 11 million Africans were transported across the Atlantic, 95% of which went to South and Central America. Many mainly to Portuguese, Spanish, and French possessions. Only 5% of the slaves went to the United States, while Christian reformers spearheaded the anti-slavery abolitionist movements in Europe and Northern America, and Great Britain mobilized her navy throughout most of the 19th century to intercept slave ships and set the captives free. That's what they say. There was no comparable opposition to slavery with the Muslim world. But Christians still enslaved people, but they was trying to intercept. It might have been ones that didn't, you know what I'm saying, fall for that shit. You know what I'm saying? There's stuff on that. But we all know the Christian slave trade. We already know. Even after Britain outlawed the slave trade in 1807 in Europe, and Europe abolished the slave trade in 1815, no, they didn't. That's why human trafficking still exists. That's why CPS exists. That's why foster care exists. It's the same shit. The Slave Labor Act, the slave or the work labor force, your 9 to 5s, it ain't stopped. They renamed it, recolored, da da da. By some calculations, the number of victims of 14 centuries of Muslim slave trade could exceed 180 million. Nearly 100 years after President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation in America, and 130 years after all slaves within the British Empire were set free from parliamentary decree, Saudi Arabia and Yemen in 1962, and in Mauritania in 1980, begrudgingly removed legalized slavery from their statute books, and this one only after international pressure was brought to bear. Today, numerous international organizations document that slavery still continues in some countries. Everywhere. Duh. Reports on slavery in Sudan, Mauritania, for instance, needs looking into. Recently, a former slave from the Nuba Mountains of Sudan, these are my people, Mende Nazir, and had her autobiography, Slave, My True Story, published. Mende Nazir was an alleged slave in Sudan. She was made famous by her transfer to England to serve a diplomatic family. Mende Nazir reports that she was abducted and sold into slavery in Sudan when she was a child of 12 or 13. She doesn't know when she was born. She lived in a village of the Karkonuba in the Nuba Mountains of Sudan with her family. The village was attacked one night. Mende fled with her family into the mountains. It's a lot of fleeing in the mountains. Um, She became separated from her family, and when a man caught her and told her he would protect her, she believed him. Damn, don't that sound like these motherfuckers out on the street prostituting the women and stuff? And men, sex trafficking and shit? Yeah. Sound like them motherfuckers a whole lot. Bribing them, trying to, I got you, I could put you in the house. You know what I'm saying? Get your hair done, your nails done, get you some clothes, then I hook you up with some food, get some money in your pocket. You know? Really? Daughter, go get my computer charger downstairs. Take it out the orange cord. Hello. Oh man. So yeah, and told her he would protect her. She believed him, or she trusted him, and she had already seen people killed in front of her. The man told her to stay with a group of children. Later, the raiders came and took all the children to the town of Dilling, and there the children were taken by families to serve as servants. Foster care. Mende also reports that she was taken by a woman from Khartoum, whom she served for 6 or 7 years. She had to do all the hard work of the household and sleep on the floor of the garden shed. You ever slept on hard concrete with handcuffs on your ankles in the dark, in the basement where it's cold, it's dripping, cracks in the wall and shit, frogs, all kind of bugs and shit. Sleeping in your own piss and your own boo boo. All my life I had to fight. They told me I had no right. So this I take and fight for my healing and life. Healing and life. Daughter. Healing and life. Oh yeah. Lugga. All right, she was never paid anything for her labor and was frequently beaten. She wanted to leave but had no money and nowhere to go and was afraid to go to the police. The woman, that don't sound strange. The woman of the house said that she owned Mende and called Mende her abda or slave. You know what the funny thing is? There's a woman who once called me a slave of Allah. I ain't no slave of no goddamn Allah. First of all, if anything, Allah is my slave because Allah is not the true living one. It's not the maker. Most of y'all Arabs don't even know that your Allah isn't even masculine. There was a woman. Many of the deities or gods are actually people. and her name was Allah. Mm. But you wouldn't know that because y'all trust your scholars. But your scholars ain't teach you this stuff, and we ain't even finished yet. Eventually, Mende was sent to London to work as a domestic after several ugh, after several months, Mende escaped and claimed asylum. At first, the Home Office rejected her claim in October 2002. In November, now this shit sounded like it was a long ass time ago, but it wasn't. In November, the Home Office overturned its decision and granted Mende asylum. I wonder why. Huh? How? Like you can't even make that shit make sense. You feel me? There's no excuse.
Label of clean, while it was descendants of the same people who did not earn a place on the ballot.
Had to teach him shitting on yourself wherever you at is not good. It's good to take. It's good to watch, not stink. People don't want to be around you if you're stinking and shit. Don't brush your fucking mouth.
But instead stole it with that $5. The same people who did.
My whole thing is too though with that. You want to try to correct us on raising our children and our families. And y'all motherfuckers, most of y'all still don't to this day know how to do it. And you learned it from our people. And y'all still learning it from our people to this day. Ain't that some shit?
Not earn the land allotments that they were handed for free from the government under the Homestead Act. The same individuals whose ancestors did not earn the profit or the wealth that was acquired through the forced free labor of enslaved Africans and their children and their children's children. The same individuals who did not earn the right to decide that certain humans were not humans according to their science and laws. The same individuals who did not earn their spots in colleges and universities, but were instead given these spots because Big Daddy went to the same school, the same university, and happens to make a very substantial donation every year. They did not earn their positions and jobs because you cannot say that you earned your spot by being the best when everyone is not being considered. Diversity means bringing in people from different walks of life with different experiences and different views so that they can add something new to the table, a different perspective. Equity means making up for the many centuries of unfair denial to the same opportunities that white people have had access to for every year of every one of those centuries. It requires examining the individual and specific disparities that have been created and how they have affected certain groups, and then finding a specific solution, the best solution, to close the gap in each of those instances of inequality. Inclusion means that no demographic of people gets left out of consideration, conversation, and opportunity. It means that all groups are represented and have a voice. DEI is righting the wrongs that this nation has done to non-white men in the name of white supremacy and misogyny. Why does that make
I have a question. Is it just me, or in 2020, when corporations came out of the woodwork saying they wanted to push DEI initiatives to give equity to marginalized groups, especially the Black community, who have been shut out of opportunities no matter how qualified they are because they were Black? Because this is a real thing in America, it always has been. And now all of a sudden, 40 years later, there are political officials trying their damnedest to pass policies to ban DEI initiatives in a time where Black athletes are killing it. Y'all want to get rid of the programs. DEI is rooted in the civil rights movement. The same movement that challenged racist bigotry when it came to marginalized groups, especially the Black community in this country. DEI gets its very roots from the civil rights movement. And politicians are trying to ban it. And y'all are claiming that Black people didn't earn these positions and we were just getting handouts? I mean, that's rich coming from some people who descend from colonizers who literally stole land from one group of people and then cultivated the land by enslaving another group of people, meaning they didn't earn anything for at least the first 250 years. It's very rich. I truly hope that Black athletes start to choose different avenues to take their talents because of these anti-DEI initiatives so that these institutions can lose their funding because they don't have Black athletes. I truly hope that backfires in ways they couldn't imagine.
This is a reminder to y'all back in 2009 and 2010, there was a study that came out from the National Center of Education Statistics during the Obama years that showcased how Black women were the most educated group in this country, receiving some of the most degrees. It's not lost on me that y'all have been in a tizzy ever since we had a Black president and Black women were labeled as being the most educated group in this country. It's not lost on me. What's also not lost on me is the fact that I can make inferences. Y'all continuously spout this idea that degrees are not valuable anymore. Certifications are not valuable anymore. All of that happened right after those statistics came out. We see you, and we're still educated. Do with that what you will with internet knowledge. Just know that we're outshining your mediocrity, and we know it makes you mad.
White people's inability to
There we
sympathize with brown and
enjoy
black
it.
people deeply hurts me. And don't be dense, of course it's not all white people, but it's a general understanding of the world. But it hurts me, right? Because I've never looked at a person as less than them being a person. I've never looked at a starving man and looked at him as other than being a starving man, despite his race, ethnicity, or background. The pain that I feel when I talk about what's happening across the world is the same pain that I feel when I talk about my people's history in the hands of white folks. It's the same pain that I feel when I talk about slavery. It's the same pain that I feel when I talk about. It's like you have to explain to white folks that, hey, we're people too. We have feelings too. We have people that we.
Okay, we gotta talk about this. You guys said you saw these as well. I absolutely love the Daily Bell. I highly recommend it for anyone struggling.
To white folks that, hey, we're people too. We have feelings too. We have people that we care about too. You see how when something happens and it hurts you and you cry? Yeah, that happens to us too. Because when you look at the racial dynamics of the world, Black and brown people are not treated as people in comparison to white people. Look at how America treated the Ukrainian refugees versus any refugees. Mexican refugees, Caribbean refugees, African refugees. Look how they treated them. And you won't even let us have our stories. Black and brown people spent their entire livelihoods. A majority of our history is us going against the odds. That centered already of white women come on this app and cry about Lana Del Rey being snubbed at the Grammys, all in the same breath talking about how Victoria Monet did not deserve hers. I don't know, the fact that I have to go online to be like, you should sympathize with these brown people. You should sympathize with these Black people eats me alive. Like America has made a mockery of my people and my country, and I'm used to it, but at the same time, I'm not. It hurts. Like my people fought hard. Like my people fought extremely hard for the freedom that got taken away from them. And it's really the same thing for Congo. You have to beg for you guys to stop doing certain things, for you guys to look at these Black children and see them as people who are deserving of peace. We have to go and yell at the top of our lungs that these Black children are children and they should not be digging and mining for objects for you to have your new iPhone. And they should be at school enjoying themselves just like your child. We have to cry and beg for you to understand that those Palestinian children are just children. And they should not be orphans and they should not be blown up. They should be at school or playing, just like your white kids. And it's tiring, it's exhausting, but it's very dehumanizing.
Beg them for what?
This is all I got from this. And looking at that, it's just really very sad. That
I do want to say one thing on that too. That many of the Arabs of the ancient times were melanated too, by the way. not just these hybrids of today that look like, I mean, they're light. You know what I'm saying? They're hybrids. They're not the real Arabs, the real Berbers and Arabs and all that stuff. I mean, there was people of Nigeria who helped support the Arab trade and or the sub-Saharan trade and all the other trade, the British, the Mongols, Chinese, um, the hybrid Taiwanese, all the shit in Vietnam, um, um, all over North and South America, Mesoamerica, Hindustan, North, South, West, East India. I'm about to look at the East Indian Trading Company in a minute too. And you know what I'm saying? All of my ancestors were kings and queens and princes, royals, nobles. You feel me? Literally. So we were already people in high status. People, I mean, come on, bro. Let's just look at it. We weren't just people in loincloths and shit like that. Man, we was dressed in gold. We had a really nice stuff, kimonos. Yeah, original peoples that was in the Japanese territories before these Mongolese Japanese is there now, and Chinese. We was already in those lands. Same thing with in Ireland, in Europe. You know what I'm saying? It's not just white Europeans. Our people was in Canada, Mexico. You know what I'm saying? All the sunken land that is between Mexico, going from Mexico all the way down. You know what I'm saying, with Florida and all that shit. You know what I'm saying, all that stuff in between that goes all the way to the islands in the Bahamas, the British Isles. Our people was in Britain. You know what I'm saying? Our people was in Germany. It's much people. You know what I'm saying? Their queen, the British queen. You know what I'm saying? She's one of the main motherfuckers. Bill Gates and they dumb ass. You know what I'm saying? The people that own YouTube. Thanks be to y'all for his favor that we even get to use this. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Many of the real queens, they're gonna usurp the names of our people, and they was no white people. They don't have a real identity. They're not royal people. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing royal about them. They stole that. They're wearing your stuff, our possessions, our gold, our jewels. We mine the shit. We work for the shit too, and it's our stuff that came from our lands, traded everywhere else. You know what I'm saying? These people not royal. Motherfuckers in Dubai and shit like that talking about royals. Nick, ain't shit royal in your existence, bro. We were 12 kingdoms, empires, dynasties. Our people walked around. You know what I'm saying? I show pictures. I'm not gonna go into all that. Like, we know what's up. The Star Spangled Banner is a boasted murder. That flag, not our flag. Those people not